Hey everyone, this is Lauren Mack with Hacking the Rat Race. This week, following research completed by the CFPB, the three major credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, have come out and said that as of July 1st, 2022, the paid medical debt will no longer be included on your credit report. In early 2023, they will be removing any medical debt under $500. And lastly, medical debt will not show up on your credit report for 1 year instead of 6 months, giving you more time to work with creditors and pay it back. What does this mean for you? How will this impact your credit score? And what should you do if your medical debt is over $500 and therefore will not be removed? I'm going to go over all this in this video and more. So let's jump right in. Given the convoluted insurance billing system, even the billing systems, if you don't have insurance, can make even the most insurance-savvy person squeamish. It gets even more complicated if an emergency occurs and you have to go to the emergency room. The costs are not clear, the bills come in separately, and sometimes months apart. And if you're in an emergency situation, your healthcare could be life or death. Given all this, it is no wonder that medical debt and debt collections is high, especially when you consider that the Federal Reserve survey showed that 40% of American adults wouldn't be able to cover a $400 emergency, much less thousands. If, for example, you have a high deductible plan or are uninsured. Even good insurance policies have out-of-pocket maximums, so in many cases, medical care can be very expensive. The CFPB's research showed that Americans had racked up $88 billion in medical debt on consumer credit reports as of June 2021. On credit records, this is the most common debt collection type. Based on the CFPB research and working with the three major credit bureaus, they have decided to roll out three major changes. I'm going to go over each one and how they'll impact you and your credit score. As of July 1st, 2022, paid medical debt will be removed from your credit report. This is beneficial even though it's paid medical debt because oftentimes, prior to the debt being paid, there is negative reporting on your credit report and that could be there for up to 7 years. Additionally, there can be negative reporting if the debt was settled but never marked paid in full. Therefore, having all of this type of negative information removed from your credit can boost your credit score. Next, in early 2023, they will be removing medical debt from your credit report completely that is under $500. CFPB research has shown that other medical billing data on credit report is less predictive of future repayment than reporting on traditional credit obligations. This is a huge win if your debt is under $500. But if your debt is over $500, it will not be removed. However, I will discuss a little bit later ways to get it removed and/or greatly reduced. Additionally, I created a checklist to easily walk you through the process I'll lay out in this video. You can grab it in the show notes below. One thing to keep in mind, just because it's not on your credit report does not mean the collections will stop. They're still able to get a judgment against you to get their money back. Historically, for amounts this low, they maybe would not have done that. But to be honest, impacting someone's credit score was leverage to make them pay. This is exactly what the CFPB was trying to avoid. But ultimately, this being removed from people's credit report will give them less incentive to pay, which in turn will result in more write-offs for the health providers, which in turn could create more incentive to go after things like judgments to actually get their money back. Only time will tell. But I just want to make sure people are clear that while it's being removed from your credit report, this does not wipe out the debt. Do note that according to the CFPB director, they would like to remove all medical debt from credit reports, and they will be monitoring the situation to make the determination at a later time. But for now, it's all debts under $500. I want to hear from you in the comments below. Do you think they should remove all medical debt from credit reports, and why? Lastly, medical debt will not show up on your credit report for 1 year. If it's over $500, in order to give you more of an opportunity to get the debt settled. This is really great because it gives you more time to accumulate the bills coming in, examine them, discuss with the insurance company, negotiate reductions, and time to get the billing errors corrected. This is significant because according to the Medical Billing Advocates of America, upwards of 80% of medical bills have errors. 80%! Not only is that number huge, it can be extremely difficult in many cases due to different offices billing for different pieces of the medical care, and in some cases double billing because one area didn't know what the other area was billing for. The other good news here is that the CFPB has told credit bureaus if there's an organization that is consistently billing incorrectly, that they need to be banned from being able to report to the credit bureaus. Oftentimes, people don't even know they have an outstanding amount due until they pull their credit report for something like a home or a car loan. This is why it's important to pull your credit report each year and check for errors. That being said, all this is positive news in regards to raising your overall credit score, especially if the reason your credit score is down is due to medical debt. These changes could be what it takes to push someone with good credit to excellent credit, which can save so much money on things like deposits, interest rates, job approvals, insurance quotes, just to name a few. So many people don't realize the impact their credit score has on their life outside of things like interest rates for loans. Now, what if your medical debt is over $500 and it will not be removed from your credit score? There are some things you can do to decrease the amount you owe and potentially negotiate a lower payment. If you're able to ensure it's accurate, negotiate it to an amount you're able to pay and pay it. Then you'll benefit from the part where the paid medical debt is removed from your credit report. The first thing I recommend is asking for a thorough breakdown of the bill from the collection agency or the healthcare provider, depending on what stage the billing process you're in. If you're receiving bills from multiple sources, then I would get all the bills from every source. Then review them carefully. If there is something you don't understand that is not broken down clearly, then ask for an explanation. Then, you want to check for any duplicate items. For example, a surgeon is billed for his time from the hospital and his office. Then check for items that don't make sense or you do not recall receiving. Make a note of this. Next, if you have insurance, then contact your insurance company and ask for a detailed EOB, which stands for Explanation of Benefits. This is not a bill. This is a statement you get from your insurance company that explains how they process your bill according to your insurance policy. I would speak to someone and have them go over it with you, have them explain anything you don't understand, and explain anything that was not covered and why it was not covered. If you find a duplicate item or something that was not processed properly, then have them go back to the company and resubmit it. If you find an error, regardless if you have insurance or not, even if the insurance is resubmitting, then contact the billing office and/or collection agency and dispute it. If it's already in collections, you may still want to call the original medical billing office to get the item removed and then contact the collection agency and let them know you're working on getting it corrected. If you're not getting any responses, I recommend reporting it to the CFPB. It may not have an immediate or direct impact, but it will put it on the radar and is more likely to get the billing office or collection agency to respond. If you reviewed the bill and/or explanation of benefits and it's all accurate, then call the billing office and/or collection agency and try to negotiate a lower price. If it's still at the medical billing office, they should be willing to negotiate because when they sell it to collections, they'll be taking a loss anyways. If it's already in collections, then try to negotiate with the collection agencies as they have bought the debt at a large discount. If you get a no, then you can always call back and try another collection agent at the collection agency. Normally, they're just big call centers. Also, don't forget, you can always negotiate and set up a payment plan on the lower amount. However, if you're going on a payment plan, the negotiated amount will sometimes be higher than the cash amount since there's still a risk you won't finish the payment plan. Whatever you do though, through this whole process, especially if any agreements have been made, always get everything in writing. Do not proceed with any deals without getting them in writing because if they change their mind, or they're a sketch collection agency, then you have no proof and they can make you pay the full amount. I would just like to add that if you get a lab test done or some sort of medicine or treatment at a hospital or a doctor's office that is very expensive, it's oftentimes worth reaching out to the lab or the pharmaceutical company because they can give you steep discounts or even waive the cost completely. Many people don't know this or don't think it's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. The worst thing they can say is no. Almost all the people I know who have contacted them have had some luck. I went to a doctor once and told them about a problem I was having. It seemed serious and told me I should have a lab done, so I agreed. Of course, the cost of the lab was never discussed. I just assumed it would be $100 or less. I got the bill in the mail, and the lab was over $650. I literally almost fell out of my chair. To make matters worse, the lab results were all fine. I called the doctor's office to complain, and they put me in touch with the lab to see if they could help. And the lab waived the fee completely. I have never been so grateful. And I never accept labs without asking the cost now. I know from personal experience that you can get the amount waived if you contact the lab or the company. This is a lot of information, so I created a checklist I mentioned in the beginning of this video to walk you through it, and you can get it in the show notes below. If you want an excellent credit score, then it is important to understand how your credit score works. I have a super simple breakdown in this video right here.